and Blindside starts now.
That's what we need.
What?
We need a Freddy.
We need a Freddy
Yeah.
from iCarly?
Yeah. Because, like, iCarly, like, Carly and Sam
Which one am
were
I?
the stars. I'd probably say you're Carly.
Why am I Carly?
Because it always has to be about you. The show has
Oh,
to be.
jeez. Man, you share some opinions
I mean, I'm
with some
blonde.
people that we know.
I'm blonde, too. So, well, yeah, that's what I'm leaning into.
We are Backdoors and Blindsides.
Oh, we're recording?
Yeah.
We're oh, okay.
It's organic,
Ooh,
baby.
kind of cold intro.
We're going
Love
to keep it rolling. We're Backdoors and Blindsides. We're recapping Survivor 49, Episode 5. I'm a wolf, baby. And I'm your host, Matt. That's my wife over there, Meg.
It's
How's
me.
it
Hi.
going?
It's going.
It's going.
It's
so
going.
I saw something last night that said, if you ask a white person how's it going, and they say it's going, then like they're not doing great, and like they could use some help. And if they say that they're living the dream, then
that's even worse.
You need to,
I feel
you
like
need to call a hospital.
Yeah. You gotta. They probably need to be committed. Like you need some, serious psychiatric help probably. But I'm not living the dream. I am. It's going.
We are in the midst of our Survivor recap. 5 episodes in, right? And this is we're going strong. It's a new challenge, I guess, covering a different show. I think it's easier just like in a linear format to recap Survivor than it is Big Brother. Big Brother, we were following at the start, 17 different people,
Yeah.
and trying to condense all of their like individual storylines plus their alliances plus like the challenges and the comps and all of that shit. And thankfully, Survivor is pre-taped. It's edited in a way that it's much more digestible.
Production knows where the story's going.
Yeah, they're
right?
helping us out on this one.
Yeah, they're helping us out. They are creating the story arcs. They're creating the characters. They're leaning into stereotypes or personas, continual personas that kind of come up in Survivor. You can kind of relate players back to past ones, and you kind of know how everything is laid out in front of you, where, Big Brother, the production team doesn't know how it's going to end because it's live, it's happening. They'll find out with everyone else if they're doing their jobs correctly and aren't puppeteering and meddling all that much.
Or sleeping on the job during overnights.
Right.
So where we left off last week, Matt went home from the Hina tribe.
Yep.
And, I don't think he's missed. He's kind of the first person to go home where I feel like I've already forgotten that he was there in the first place, right? And maybe that's because we really got no time with him leading up to last week's tribal because it was just Kella over and over again.
Yeah, listen, he shit on my girl Sandra. She was out enjoying her Hawaiian beach vacation for her husband's birthday, and she gets a text from Carolyn from a few seasons ago saying, "Hey girl, you're being mentioned on tonight's episode." And so Sandra had to go and see it, and she got to see Matt shitting on her gameplay.
What was her reaction?
She was just basically like, my bank account doesn't lie. Like, I'm a 2-time winner. Like, get over it. Basically, like this very nonchalant boss ass bitch move. And I loved it. And, Sandra has been in there and won 2 seasons, so minimum $2 million. She also came back for a this kind of like coaching, almost mentor type season. Boston Rob was there. They had their fucking heads the size of like a 3-story building. Each of them had their own big giant wooden heads.
Shit.
Huge.
That's awesome.
Basically the Mount Rushmore of Survivor is what it was. And you can't come for the queen like that. So I was basically like,
hell yeah.
We'll never see him again. Bye.
Yeah, that's it's a little awkward to just be shitting on someone who's been so successful in the game. And
yeah.
I guess just to like get some leverage for yourself. So long, Matt. What's the fallout at Tribe Hina?
So Jason is gotta be feeling super vulnerable right now, right? Like his prior or previous tribe member, Matt, just left. It's just him and Matt came in from prior Hina, and he's got to be feeling a little squirmish, right? Like if you just look at the lay of the land, you have 4 Ulis. You have Sophie, who basically wedged herself, a little finagle, little slithered herself in. The little puppy dog she called herself, kind of getting in with them a little bit better. Yeah, she got adopted. And so we have her sitting in a pretty decent spot. But Jason's got to be the worst of the bunch
and
right now.
They come back from tribal. So do I take it like they don't talk at all walking to or from tribal? I mean, I know they're like in single file line, but it just seems like no one has said anything to each other until they return to camp, and they're all like, Jason, do you want to talk, basically? You want to talk about what's next for you, about your impending doom?
I'm not 100% sure on the logistics of like how the islands are laid out and where like the, points of interest are, where the tribe camps are, and where Ponderosa is, which is just like Survivor HQ on the, the base. And then, you have location of tribal, and then locations of all of your challenges and journeys, excursions. I'm not exactly sure the lay of the land there, but, them walking out single file that you see, that they don't walk like that the rest of the way.
I like to think that they do.
I'm pretty sure that they shuffle them into the back of like a cargo type truck, and they cart them back, or they get in a boat and they go to the other island. So I would assume during that transportation, they're probably not allowed to talk about anything.
Gotcha.
So that's why I think it always opens when, it's like, oh, sorry about whatever. They kind of be like, and action.
Yeah, let's get back to the show. Right. So they're not really even consoling him, but they're trying to comfort him, or just like, hey, sorry that you got fucked by this tribe switch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it is. Like, that's kind of what sucks, right? He hasn't done anything to really screw himself over. Matt was more caustic. Matt was like throwing out Nate's name right away and like trying to game. But Jason just got swept up. He got on the wrong side of things, and they took to Sophie first. But
not unscathed. He did get 2 votes. He did get the votes from Shannon and Sophie.
Gotcha. You mean Savannah and Sophie?
Oh my gosh.
One of them
all
has
these
to
women
go soon.
that look the same, with all the same S names, with my little goldfish brain, it doesn't, and then I have to talk about it, so I'm never going to get it right.
They've got to cut one of these S name people.
Yeah, we need to start getting
2 weeks. Definitely before the merge.
Yeah. But the 2 of them wrote Jason's name down. They were a little skeeved out by him. He was threatening to use his shot in the dark. He wasn't really sure how he could, fit himself in this tribe. So he was kind of being like, Hina strong. And former Uli's like, we have the power. So if you want to be Hina strong, that's fine. But we'll pick you off one by one. So that wasn't great for him. He is not in a great position leading into this episode. And then we have the very beginning of the episode is flashbacks, right? Flashbacks to other, previous episodes, the important things.
Is that always the format?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's previously on Survivor.
Gotcha.
That's Jeff's cadence. My little fun Survivor viewing experience, which Matt also gets to enjoy now, is I will say Jeff's prompts while he says them.
Yeah, you know exactly what's coming. Can I try?
Sure.
Previously on Survivor. How's that?
I think there needs to be a little bit of space still. Previously on Survivor. Okay. Like you need a little bit of like almost like a breath in between on and Survivor.
I'll work on it in the next week.
Yeah.
Week 6, we'll
circle back.
I'm gonna have Jeff nailed.
Okay.
I'm gonna nail Jeff.
You're gonna
in the next week.
Okay. Maybe not that, but we get this like flashback of the whole Jawan Savannah debacle.
His little oopsie.
His little oopsie of accidentally taking her bag and emptying it and putting a whole bunch of the forest and foliage and sticks and bugs and bullshit in this bag. So immediately when I see that, I'm like, I don't care what happens in the rest of this episode, because I'm seeing this. I know, because I'm a smart viewer, I pick up on the nuances, and I unfortunately sometimes I'm able to like step back as like a viewer. I'm like, oh wait, this person isn't wearing the same stuff as this interview that they previously did. So this means that they're saying a comment about this in the technically future of the editing. And so I know
Different
based off the,
context.
yeah, like I can kind of pick up on the context of like when things were said in, you know, the editing, depending on how it's stitched together. So their Survivor is showing us this flashback for a reason. And I'm like, Juwan's leaving. There's no way. There's no way. I don't even know who wins immunity. I don't know how anything shakes out in the rest of the episode, but in the first 30 seconds of it airing, I was like, oh, Juwan's cooked. Like he's going to be leaving. So this entire episode, I'm watching it through the lens of bye, Juwan. And you know, they kind of fooled me there. But it was important to note a little bit about that, because Juwan then also takes Savannah's freaking water bottle.
I can't believe that he keeps. I mean, everyone in the camp seems dumbfounded, including him. I would try everything I could to make sure that I'm not touching anyone else's shit. I would keep my shit behind a tree half a mile from camp if it made sure that I wasn't going to be fucking up and fiddling with anyone else's stuff, especially someone who can run kind of hot like Savannah.
But listen, it's not like he's taking Savannah's bag and like Nate's water bottle and Rizzo's shoes and Jason's underwear and Sophie's bra, right? Like it is all the same person.
It's just
continuously. And listen, you're out on this island. You have nothing. You have whatever contents are in your bag, which might be like, you know, some stupid fucking corporate blazer that they make you wear as you get marooned, right? It's your water bottle. It's, you know, maybe your little mementos that you're collecting, a shell from the beach, or sometimes they get to keep the tree mail. So some people will keep certain tree mail or anything like that, right? You only have so few things on this island.
It's day 5.
Right. And the fact that someone is fucking with one of my few things, not once, but twice, and 2 different of those things, I'd piss. Also, I'm a recovering germaphobe, so the fact that someone else's mouth was on my water bottle potentially, pissed.
I don't think you can be a germaphobe and be on Survivor.
That's why I said recovering. Yeah. I'm able to, I've practiced and mastered the arts of disassociating from my body and my mind. Again, that goes back to the how's it going? It's going. So I can disassociate pretty well. So I think in a situation like that, I would be able to suspend my normal antics, if you will. But again, we've talked about this before. Survivor, I like the comfort of my own home. Do you see this plant back here? It's fake.
Yeah.
I can't keep a plant alive. These are fake plants. That's a fake one behind Matt. This is my...
We flipped the switch to turn the fireplace on.
Right, and this is my preferred interaction with nature.
You're kind of caressing
Plastic,
that. You're saying you caress nature?
I caress plastic fake nature. Okay. That's as close as I want to get to nature.
So is that enough to warrant kind of being spoken about as being put up? I guess because there's not a lot of other options.
Again, you see, this is a classic thing of, it's not about strategy, right? It's not about you're on this side, I'm on that side, I'm against you. It's not about, you know, oh, this person's super strong, so we want to either keep them or get rid of them because of that, or they're super weak, whatever. No, it's little antics.
Yeah.
It's you. This is your roommate. This is your tribe mate, right? It's the same thing that we saw on the last season of Big Brother with Ashley, who took the 2-hour shower in the HOH room and pissed off the whole house because it was rude, or, you know, ignorant, or
poor
whatever.
Form, I think poor is what we've been calling it.
Yeah. So you have these little things that really do weigh a lot, because you don't have the distraction of your phone or TV or other things. No, the small thing that happens right in front of you, pissed. Yeah,
I guess, I don't know, man. The other instance of just like Savannah having it out for Juwan pre immunity challenge is because she's had her sights on him for a while now.
Well, he was at the bottom of Uli. Don't forget.
Yes, he was. She starts going around telling everyone that Jawan is eavesdropping on all of her conversations, and this is where she is stretching what's actually going on.
This poor man was just lounging in the shelter.
The guy was fucking taking a nap,
like 4 feet away from them, and she's like,
them.
Jawan's over there eavesdropping, and I'm like, where else is he supposed to go sit down? But put his ass cheeks in the sand. And so at a certain point, I guess they do have hammocks.
But like at a certain it seems like there are the people on the Hina tribe are smart. Nate, sharp. He is a sharp dude. Rizzo has proved, like, maybe he's not a puzzle guy, but gameplay, we hear him in Tribal, he is a smart guy.
Yeah.
Right? And so we see these other Uli members just sort of agree and affirm Savannah's ideas, her notions about Jawan. Even the fact that, oh yeah, Jawan is eavesdropping on Sophie and I, even though he's just 4 feet away trying to take a nap, and they sat down in front of him. At what point would they need to pivot and start doubting her, or just like realize, because like if this was real life,
start doubting Savannah.
If we're not playing Survivor, if we're all just living in the jungle, hanging out together, we're all just we're at summer camp, right?
Worst nightmare.
You would say, I feel like I would say, Savannah, he's not fucking eavesdropping on you. The guy's just taking, like, you're kind of trying to create something out of nothing here as far as Jawan's concerned. Like, she is. It seems like obviously it's better his name out of her mouth than mine, right?
Right.
So you just agree with whatever you say.
If I'm Sophie and Savannah's doing that, I'd be like, oh yeah, girl, like what the fuck? Like, yeah, he is. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I do see that. You just agree. The game is be agreeable, not irritating, and make strategic moves that get a little bit of blood on your hands, but not a lot of blood on your hands. Have your shields, have your influences, plant your seeds, and run it like an orchestra.
And maybe that's the problem for Jawan, is he just hasn't been planting his seeds. He's not tighter with any of the tribe members than Savannah is. No. Because I guess the only time that would be something that's dismissed is if someone is close to Jawan and goes to Jawan and says, hey man, she's, or maybe Nate goes to Rizzo and says, hey, all of that stuff about Jawan, it's bullshit. She's trying to get out Jawan. We want to protect him. Obviously not the case here.
Right. If I'm the third party, so not Savannah or not Jawan, I love that. Sure. Yes, Savannah. Keep talking shit about Jawan. Yeah, he is doing that. And then if I want, I can use that as leverage to get out Savannah if I want, right? Like if I'm looking at the two of them and I'm going to Nate, she can't be trusted. Like she's saying this stuff all about Jawan. She's saying stuff about you too, Nate. Whether that's true or not, I would be fine lying about something like that. Like, oh, like Savannah saying, Nate, you're the head of the team and she wants to cut the head off the snake.
Yeah.
I can use that information in one of two ways. Yeah. Either go with Savannah and be like, yes, let's get out Jawan, or just gaslight her into thinking that I'm on her side and safe with her, to then use Jawan, what she said about Jawan as leverage to get her out. So if I'm a third party, yes, I'd stoke the flames, stoke the fire for the bigger flames, whatever the saying is.
Makes sense. So things are a little testy on the Hina side, but as we go over to the Kela tribe, it's a little more, there's more tranquility on the beach, and maybe that's because
on the surface.
Well, I'm saying it's like there's no like little fucking testy.
Because you have fucking Shannon oming and eyeing on the beach with everyone.
Maybe part of that is attributed to Shannon's zen that she's putting out there, and also the fact that they haven't had to go to tribal.
You still have people on that tribe, on the new Kela tribe, who have never seen tribal.
Everyone there besides Alex, is still. They're still living at camp, right? They're still having a good time. Yeah. But we open with, it's like Steven and Shannon, Steven with a V and Shannon are laying next to each other, and she just kind of nudges him awake, and she says, I know it's early, but I have an idea. And she pitches.
He's pissed. He's like, which with me too, if you come at me too early or ruin my sleep or anything like that, no. Sleep is my most prized possession as a human being, and you're not gonna be fucking with it.
Well, who on earth is gonna like he makes a good point later in his interview. like, who's gonna talk game the moment that they wake up? So clearly, like, she's been awake for hours,
Well,
just waiting for him, I guess.
I think this is another example of time and place.
Yeah.
Shannon's not very, she doesn't have time and place, it seems like. You know, when she is a little more vocal about her spirituality and her faith and kind of like putting that on people, it is proven now to be a turnoff to multiple tribe mates. So you kind of, which we'll get into in a little bit, but I do want to start with the Kella tribe talking specifically about what you were mentioning, Shannon approaching Steven with a V, the Steven, saying
V Steven.
V Steven.
I like V Steven.
V Steven. Oh, it kind of sounds like
Visteven.
V Steven. V Steven.
Visteven.
Yeah. So we have Shannon approaching him saying, hey, let's start this, what I'm going to call this core six alliance. It's going to be 2 Uli, 2 Kella, 2 Hinas, former from the original 3 tribes. She says, you're going to be the guy from the Uli tribe.
The OG Hina tribe.
Sorry.
She's from Uli.
Correct. So she's like, I'm going to be one of the Ulis. You're going to be one of the Hinas. Christina is also going to be one of the Hinas. I'm going to pull in my, former Uli who I want. And then the 2 Kellas are, right there in front of you.
She doesn't expressly state who that is. I'm assuming she's talking or thinking about Savannah.
I would also
she was
assume
working
that.
closely with Savannah at the old camp before the tribe switch.
Yes.
Which I just don't really understand this pitch, because there's a lot of this scenario that is out of your control. Sure, you could protect Alex on the Kella side because he's on your new team, your new tribe. You don't have any control on whether they keep Sophie or not on the Hina tribe.
Right.
Which means that's already broken up your 2-2-2 scenario. I think her intention with this is to buy Steven's allegiance
Right.
along with Christina, because she feels like she's got Christina in the bag because of their like personal connection.
Well, their faith connection. And really, I think this is a misstep from Shannon, a misread, because she sees Steven, oh, let's do Steven and Christina. That's who I want from the prior Hina tribe. No, Steven is close with MC. So what does Steven do? He immediately basically goes and tattles to MC.
It would make more sense if it was just Steven and Christina on from the OG Hina tribe in this new Kella tribe. That would make more sense. But you're telling Steven, hey, the game plan, Steven, is to cut your current alliance in half.
Yeah, and she doesn't know that. Again, bad read.
Yeah.
And it's very,
Why would you tell him
authoritarian, right? Like, oh, Steven, yes, you and the 2, former Kella, Alex and Sophie, and then my right-hand person, which, yeah, we assume is Savannah.
It's a weird end game to
like,
pitch.
why wouldn't you pitch it to Steven as, hey, Steven, I have this idea for a 2-2-2 alliance, call it the core 6. This is who I would want from my side, from the other tribe. Obviously, Sophie from the other tribe, Alex and you and I. Who would you want to be your, right-hand man to be in this core 6 alliance? But again, if I'm Steven, I don't really want to give this information up to Shannon, because if I go to Shannon and be like, yeah, MC's got to be it. MC's got to be it. Then if I'm Shannon, then I'm like, sick. I know that Steven's number 1 is MC.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't want to show those cards yet.
No, of course.
Maybe he doesn't
Why
trust
would
this
he?
core 6 alliance, because the leader of this alliance is the one that's coming to him being like, oh, got a great idea, alliance. Sophie has no fucking clue about this alliance. Savannah has no fucking clue about this alliance.
Yeah, it's full of holes.
Yeah.
And I think anyone smart enough to understand that would immediately scoff at it.
Too hard.
That's what he does.
Too hard, too fast. We're talking about 8 moves ahead. I've said this time and time again. I'll continue to say it on any competition reality TV we talk about. Do not plan your moves vocally and outwardly 8 moves in ahead. Don't even talk about the next move that's happening. Really home in on how you talk about certain things and when you talk about them. You're not even at tribal. You guys haven't even lost anything. We're not even at the merge. If anything, Shannon, you need to be going to everyone and planting seeds with them. This is not time to be like, alliance.
Here's how we're going to get 3 people out over the next undisclosed amount of times. Because, yeah, you don't know if you're going to go to tribal at all. Right now, Sophie's the one who's cursed and keeps going to tribe. She's brought that curse over to the Hina side.
Yeah.
They keep going to tribal. You guys could be sitting well throughout the rest of these, 2-tribe situations.
Yeah, for
until
a couple,
merge.
for at least a couple more tribals before the merge.
And that's not like a hot take as podcasters saying that she's playing too hard, too fast, because we see everyone else in the Hina or in the Kela tribe kind of
start
discuss
raising their
amongst each other,
eyebrows. Yeah.
saying that exact thing is she's playing too hard. She's playing too openly. And
Well-
what happens is Steven immediately goes to his clear number 1,
Yeah.
who is MC.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're obviously like he's doing a lot of like the social strategic stuff, and she is the comp beast, right?
Yeah. But no, she has the idol.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes, exactly too. So she agrees with Steven that she's seeing the same things that he is. Yeah, Shannon is playing too hard. We can't fully trust her yet. They do decide to go to their fellow OG Hina member, Christina.
Which, thank God that we see the 3 of them talk, because I was almost at the point, Christina who?
Right.
I was like, who
Well,
is this woman?
think
Who is this lady?
She
like,
got the spotlight last week because they talked about like her history with her mom.
yeah, which was upsetting.
Honestly, she still has more screen time than Sophie with an E.
That's true.
We haven't gotten, I don't think we've gotten a confessional from her in
They
like 2
really-
straight episodes.
They really haven't given
She's
us
got
anything
nothing
from
going
her,
on.
which makes me concerned for her come a future tribal or the merge, because that to me is like she didn't really do a whole lot, and we're not going to give her a bunch of screen time because she's not the one who wins.
Right.
That has me nervous. But I do want to see more of Sophie with an IE. I think she's really interesting. I've been following her on socials for a little while now, and she just seems like a super like down to earth, I would get along with her, I feel like. Like we see Savannah on New Hina talk about, oh, I like Sophie because she reminds me of someone from home. Like, I feel like that with Sophie with an IE just watching. I was like, oh, I feel like we would like vibe together. Like, I feel like you'd be a part of my friend group.
Yeah, I'm waiting for her to make some kind of move. I mean, we don't even see her. She's not even part of like the overall game strategy conversation when they're deciding that maybe Shannon isn't it. And Christina does have that personal connection with Shannon. And we see her in her interview talking about how she is kind of torn back and forth, but she seems like she's going to stay true to her OG Hina alliance and stick with Steven and MC, because at the end of the day, it's like what we saw on the current Hina side. It's her name and not mine being spoken about. That her name being Shannon instead of Christina.
Right. Well, if you're Steven and Christina too, you both have to come to the same conclusion of whether you're going to go with this alliance or not go with this alliance, right?
Yeah.
Like Steven can't be like, "No, Christina, like I think we should do it." And Christina goes, "No, I'm going to stick, Hina strong."
So
then that's a weird like rift there between them. Or then, you could go on the other side and be like, "Oh, yeah, I'll go with the core 6," and just like nod and smile and say yes. But in your heart of hearts, you're like, no, I'm going to be Hina strong. You don't disclose that. And then you're, not trustworthy to old Hina because you didn't tell them about this core 6 alliance. And then you're also not trustworthy to the core 6 alliance because maybe you just voted one of them out and now there's distrust there. But I'm glad that we are seeing some more of Christina. I think she's, has this kind of bubbly personality, and I want to see more of her.
she's afraid of birds.
Yeah,
That's
show
fine.
me more birds.
Yeah, I do want to see her freaking out about birds every day because it's the jungle. They've got to be fucking
Well,
everywhere.
now they have the chickens, so
Yes.
now
we'll
there's
see.
birds in her immediately
We'll see how that
immediate
plays
vicinity.
out. It is important to note that while Shannon's name is not being tossed around, but just they're starting to talk about how they can't trust her, Shannon is throwing out Sage's name, like officially throwing out Sage's name to specifically Steven. And I think
Stop.
and to Alex as well.
It's too soon. You're not even at tribal.
Right, they're not even at tribal, and she's already telling Steven and Alex separately, mind you, I think I'd be all right with writing Sage's name down. So you're already telling the people that you've pitched this 2-2-2 game plan to, you're making it clear it's not going to be her. It's going to be someone else, right? And that's, again, it's another hole.
Right.
Why not just stick with the narrative that, yeah, it's going to be me and Sage? But I mean, at the same time, like, you shouldn't be pitching this narrative at all. So she is telling Alex and Steven, yeah, I think that I would write Sage's name down if we have to go to tribal. And we see.
And if all these other scenarios don't change between now and tribal, like, stop throwing her out there. Like, again, plant your seeds. Be like, yeah, you know, Sage was kind of at the bottom of, you know, old Uli, and, you know, we don't really know where she stands. Like, I don't really know. Like, you can be ambiguous. You can be, you know, you can throw a little bit of shade. It doesn't have to be sunshine and roses through that lens. But I'm like, yeah, it can't just be saying Shannon, you know, Shannon can't just be saying Sage, because now Sage has learned about it. And guess what? She's like, fuck Shannon. Shannon.
Right. Alex and Steven aren't even being that secretive, talking about games, saying, yeah, I don't know how we both feel about Shannon. And I mean, this is interesting for Alex because Alex came from a cursed tribe, right? A horrible losing situation. He's going to go with, I know, like, whoever is showing him interest in working together.
Right.
So it is cool to see that he does seem to have bonds with Steven, you know, with other people at camp. Sage says, you guys are giving me FOMO because they're right around the corner talking about Shannon. They come in, they sit down, and they do tell Sage, she threw your name out there. And now we get, I mean, we've seen over the last couple of weeks that Sage is an interesting personality. But she's got a spark in her too. Like, she's got a fire, and she turns a little bit here.
I love to see it. This is the type of player I love to watch, being Sage, where she comes off as quirky, goofy, silly, a little weird on the outward facing to her tribe mates, right?
Yeah.
But then she gets in those confessionals and she's like, no, I see this, I see that, I see it all, what's happening, and this is why I'm moving like this. I'm like, yes. I love that type of strategy. I love the two-facedness and really manipulating and using perception, or the idea of perception and other people's perception, to your advantage. Because we do see Sage, she even says, like, oh, I'm just a sad, silly puppy to Shannon's eyes. So she's like, okay, bet. I can play that role. Then she weaponizes that perception that Shannon has on her, and she is going to use it to bring Shannon down. Because Shannon even said, oh, you know, Sage is just silly in her own La La Land world. She never talks game with me. I don't think she's talking game with anyone else. You, Shannon, are underestimating your opponent, supposed to be your ally because you're on the same tribe, and you were on the same tribe before. So you're underestimating her. And it's just this, like, so many levels, right? Because Sage is the strategic player, albeit quirky, and kind of has a goofy approach to it. And then you have Shannon who is like this, you know, spiritual shark, if you will. And Sage is playing into the perception that Shannon has of her. She's igniting that, and she knows exactly who Shannon is.
Yeah.
For who she is. So it's just so many levels of what is actual and fact and what is perceived. And I find that riveting.
Well, I think it's important to note, like, Shannon is again misreading here. If they're not talking about game with you, you need to assume that they're talking about game with someone else.
Yep.
They're not just keeping to themselves and staying silent. And that's a crucial error that she makes.
Huge error.
By misreading that.
This will come back and bite her in her ass 100%.
I do want to point out that while she's talking to Alex and Steven, she says she's a shark, meaning Shannon is a shark,
yes.
Which last week on the last episode in his interview, Steven points out that he believes that Shannon is a shark. So they're using the same language. That's like an immediate connection that I made right there of she is affirming Steven's private thoughts, basically, which is huge for the two of them building a connection.
Yeah. Last episode, we got both Steven and Sage calling Shannon out for who they think she is, right?
Yeah.
So again, it doesn't matter if you are super spiritual and you do have this strong connection with God, and it is in every single facet of your life back home. Again, she is misreading the situation because people are perceiving her as inauthentic, being mostly Steven and Sage. And they both, again, this episode call her out on, well, not directly to her, but like in confessionals and to other people, they call her out on it. But Sage is really trying to kind of go off of this anti-Shannon momentum. She goes to the former Hina tribe and she goes, hey guys, by the way, Rizzo on the other tribe, yeah, he has the advantage from
Huge
Uli.
moment. Something that Sophie did last week.
Yeah,
she
and she
told
goes,
Savannah that Alex had played an idol the night before.
Giving a little bit of information as trust and leverage. And Shannon's over there, or sorry, Sage is over there like, yeah, Rizzo on the other tribe, yeah, he has the idol. Shannon tell you guys about that? Huh,
Yeah.
interesting. She did it? Huh, I wonder who's more trustworthy. I think it's me.
Huge moment for Sage.
Yeah.
That's
Again,
a huge win.
showing her strategy. You only have to show the sides of yourself to certain people and in certain scenarios, and she is just playing that so well. Everyone is so blinded by the fact that she picks out her face and pops her pimples and gets her blackheads and put them in a jar, and like, clearly that person can't be, you know, strategic and have the smarts. No, fuck you guys. I wouldn't say she's running the tribe necessarily. I think truly on New Kella it's Steven and MC, but I think Shannon, Jesus,
Sage.
I think Sage, I just want fewer S names, please. Sage is kind of, you know, wiggling her way in there more so than I think Shannon thinks that she herself has, and surely more than what she thinks that Sage has.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before we move on from the Keller tribe, I want to point out, just because this was clearly highlighted by production as well, it's edited in a very certain way. We do get a lot of Shannon's spirituality peppered throughout the episode, much like last week. But
I have a quote here. Jesus got high off of God. Praise the Lord.
she says everyone gets high off of things. Goats get high off of hay. Jesus gets high off of God. And so I'm just picturing like, dude, come here. You got to try this. Just come here. Just hang on. It's my dad. Yeah, man. It's my dad. Come on. It's going to get you fucked up. Let's go.
Taking a bump off of God here.
So that's just all I could think about. That's
we
my
think-
old man. I got a little bit of my old man mouth. Come here.
Yeah,
Hang on. I got an
talking
idea.
like the ashes or like what do we?
Well, that's the thing. I needed to elaborate a little bit, and I just think, guys, you're gonna be fucking crazy. After we're done doing blow, getting stoned off of my dad, let's fucking drink my blood. Let's drink my blood, and then you can eat some of my body too. And that's how the Holy Sacrament was made. Dude, drink my blood. Come on, come here. That's my Bible.
I mean, you're the Jesus
That's
kid.
my Sunday school lesson.
You're the Jesus kid. You were the one in church growing up all the time, and I was not. So I would not know.
That's what they teach you in the Methodist church. Yeah.
Oh, verbatim?
Yeah, they let you wear jeans to service, and the sacrament is the equivalent of doing
Great.
coke.
You know, I was thinking about going to church on Sunday, but now we did that. I think that checks the box.
All right, man. I'm gonna go hang out for a couple days. I'll be back. Don't tell anyone. It's gonna blow everyone's mind. All right.
Oh my!
We can't call the episode that.
No.
Should I mark that?
We might. I would like a bleep on the part maybe. Yeah, I don't want to get offend entire Christianity.
We can't put that on YouTube. We can't make that the episode.
But yeah, we do get some more of Shannon being super spiritual, which, by the way, I do believe that is who she is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
I don't think it's fake.
No, I do not think it's inauthentic. I don't think it's fake. I think that's 100% who she is. I've, again, been like following some of her social media and stuff like that, which is obviously, you know, live because they're not taping. And that, you know, she's, you know, singing Jesus music in the car with her friend on the way to a podcast interview or whatever. I'm like, oh no, this is
sounds like she could be a good fit for a certain podcast that we love. Figuring it out with Matt Hardman.
I mean, probably. I think he's figured it out. He stopped doing it, right?
I don't know.
Maybe.
They did break up. Him and Mackenzie broke up.
What?
Oh, am I breaking that?
Oh
on the
my
website or on the
God.
podcast?
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he didn't figure it out then.
That's why I'm hoping that we get a new episode. All right,
Holy shit.
pause. So, Matt Hardiman.
We digress.
Former
This
Big
is
Brother
important.
player.
Everyone shut up. Listen to this.
It's our favorite podcast, Figuring It Out with Matt Hardiman.
It's not.
It's a whopping 3
I
episodes.
refuse to listen
No, this is
to
my
it.
favorite podcast in the world.
Absolutely
This
not.
and Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will.
No. See,
And
well,
Backdoors
you
and
can't
Blind
you
Sides.
can't say that in the same sentence because Gamecocks talk with Captain Will. That is actually like
He does like
He's-
3 episodes a week.
he's
by
great.
the way.
He's great. We
He's
love. We
awesome.
actually capital L love that
Yeah.
one. We like lowercase L cross out hate figuring it out.
Speak for yourself. It's my favorite
Okay,
podcast.
okay.
I've left it a 5-star review, and I've
Did you
messaged.
really?
I've DM'd him asking him to continue the show. Not from the Backdoors account.
This
from my
feels
own
like
personal account.
bullying.
How is it bullying?
It feels like you're bullying.
He's a
this
fucking
man.
influencer. He's monetized the show.
That's true.
So he was in a relationship with another player from Big Brother 26, Mackenzie,
The runner-up who swears that she didn't make the worst decision ever in Big Brother history by taking the person who clearly would have beat her and not taking the layup.
And so they both announced on their socials, separately, mind you, that they are no longer together.
Was it a joint statement, though?
No.
Ooh, you
And-
know it wasn't amicable then. Because
and-
sometimes you get the joint statements that were like, signed XOXO, Matt and Mackenzie, or whatever the fuck.
Wait for it.
Oh.
Mackenzie posted first. Oh. Yes. So the internet turned on my beloved Matt.
Well, because he probably just fucking kept talking about Angela too much in bed, and Mackenzie couldn't have it anymore. She's like,
They're
I need
obsessed
you.
with
I
each
need
other.
you to stop saying Angela's name when you're inside me, Matt. Please.
Call me crazy, guys, one more time.
Yeah.
Do it, babe. Do it.
Or maybe he's there with her, and it's just the crazy eyes looking.
I mean, he seems challenging to be around, I guess is what I would use, at least if I were to hang out with him.
well, yeah, 'cause
but
he's still
I don't
figuring
need
it
to be
out.
his friend. I just need to be his loyal listener.
Yeah, right. But see, in the kind of bullying, not really bullying, Matt's a fan, but Megan's not a fan of all of this. We are promoting it in a way, right? Any press is good press.
Everyone should go listen to this show. It's my favorite podcast, Figuring It Out with Matt Hardiman. But yes, so Mackenzie posts first, and the internet immediately turns to the. She doesn't explain like what happened. She just said it's been a painful year. They've been together for about a year. They got together after the season. She said it's been a year full of pain, which is very deliberate language. And they
Think
all
like
say, so Matt
there's a
cheated
little
on
bit of-
Mackenzie, everybody. Guess what? Matt cheated on Mackenzie. Matt opens his post with, yes, Mackenzie and I are no longer together. My phone, oh god damn it, my phone is our camera for this video episode. I wish that I had the screenshot that our friend Molly sent us. She's our beat reporter, by the way. She's
Right.
the one that clued me in on all of this. She's the other biggest listener of Figuring It Out with Matt Hardiman. And he basically says something along the lines of, I weep for the men in this country because of how low we are as like how low we are as like seen individuals, and how it's assumed that the men are the people that cheat and the reason that the relationship tanks and stuff like that. Now he's like very complimentary of Mackenzie. Guess what? Again, this guy mentions his mom and says, it's hard for me to hear that my mom is telling me that she doesn't like seeing all these comments about me, et cetera, et cetera. But this is, by the way, I think a 3-panel story that he shares. MJ only posted 1, but something along the lines of, yes, it makes me feel sick on behalf of all the men in this country.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. No one gives a shit. And it is. There's a stereotype for a fucking reason.
I need the episode. I need the podcast episode. If you're listening, please go to Matt Hardiman's Instagram account and comment. Please do another episode of Figuring It Out.
So you think
Send him a DM.
he's going to talk about Mackenzie now, his ex, for the rest of eternity as he is with Angela? You think he'll never be able to get Mackenzie and Angela out of his mouth?
Well, she was one of 2 guests that he's had on the show. The other being Chelsea, the winner of that season. So I would love for him to get other guests. Maybe he could have his mom on there. I just think that there's a lot of different ways that my favorite podcast
could get even better
could go.
Right.
So if you're a Big Brother fan, check it out. And everyone, just do me a favor. Ask him to do another episode because I need my fix, man. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'm just waiting. I'm just hitting refresh every day. So we digress.
That was shocking. I will be doing a deep dive after this for the next 30 minutes, and now the show's gonna run extra long because we didn't have that slotted in here. I had no idea about that. You really got me. That's amazing.
Silly radio instincts is what we call
Love that.
Behind the scenes.
A couple episodes ago, I said that Savannah on the new Hina tribe, she reminded me of Parvati, former Survivor great. Parvati was known for being this like cunning, foxy lady. She was able to kind of use some of her sex appeal, kind of like a siren, right? Lure these people in, being nice, smiley, giggly, whatever, and then fucking biting their head off. Vicious. She was on one of the most recent seasons of Traitors as well. She was on Survivor Australia, which I hear is fantastic. And she is, another great, right? And so I'm seeing some of these characteristics from Savannah, and I'm like, she kind of reminds me of Parvati, just like the way she looks and the way she kind of goes about interacting with people. And then, funny enough, we get Sophie saying that Shannon is, quote, pulling a Parvati, and she's kissing Alex's hand. And so I thought that was so funny because I had already made a comment about Parvati being like, someone else being like Parvati, and then someone else on this show is saying that same thing about someone else. So I thought that was a little interesting, and that is not, you don't want to be called that, because the reason that Parvati worked so well and she was able to do what she did is because no one saw it coming.
Right.
Because it's under the radar. It's manipulative, and a level of manipulation that you don't even see or realize that's happening before it's too late.
Did she credit that when she was in front of jury?
Who?
Parvati.
It's been a minute.
Interesting. But the point being is that you don't want that to be, you don't want to be noticed. If it's being talked about, then you're doing it
right.
wrong.
Right. Like, oh, I saw Shannon kissing Alex's hand. Like, come on, girl. Like, or whatever. Not good at all. And you actually have Alex telling Steven, again, Steven's at like the focal point of all of this stuff. He has Shannon coming to him saying, fuck Sage. He has Sage coming to him saying, fuck Shannon. He has MC as his right-hand woman. He has Christina, who he's also close with. And then you also now have Alex coming to him saying, I don't get it. She's playing way too hard.
Yeah.
Alex, who has maybe played the hardest because he's been to the second most tribals right behind Sophie.
Yeah. You can see, by the way, just like how like malnourished he is, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could just tell, like, I don't know, his jaw looked like super square on day 5. I'm just like, oh, dude, like that's, watching, especially in the first couple of weeks, I feel like you can really tell like the change in people's, and we're not like commenting on physique, but like it is an apparent thing watching this show when people are out there eating coconuts for 5 straight days and probably burning 4,000 calories a day.
Right. But then you do also get MC saying that she is Team Sage.
Yeah.
So not looking good for Shannon.
No.
Not looking good for Shannon at all, where I think Shannon actually probably sees herself as the top on the tribe. But in reality, I think she's a lot closer to the bottom, if not on the bottom, than she even thinks or is even on her radar at this point.
So before we get to the immunity challenge, I hear a boat. Everyone's maybe favorite or least favorite phrase to hear when you're hanging out at camp. Guys, I hear a boat. Everyone up. Everyone runs to the beach. It's another journey challenge. And right off the bat on the Kella tribe, MC volunteers. She says, I've got this one. She's been crushing it in the team challenges. Whatever the reward is or whatever the advantage may be, she wants to get it for the team, maybe for herself. A lot of people still don't know that she has an idol. But then we go to the Hina tribe, and it's a little muddier.
Yeah.
Jason is the first one to volunteer.
Please, for the love of God, can I go?
Makes
I need an
sense.
upper hand in this game.
I need any fucking kind of advantage, because if we lose immunity tonight, there's a good chance that I go home. The rest of the tribe obviously doesn't like the sound of
not
that.
so fast. You ain't getting an advantage, Jason. We aren't willingly sending you to go get an advantage, potentially.
Nate and Savannah raise their hands as well. Well, we're up to give it a try as well, which means we go to...
Of course, Savannah raised her hand.
We go to random draw. And this is
Random
the
draw.
interesting part.
Air quotes happening right here.
And Jason seems to buy it. It is not a random draw. Jawan rigs it so that Savannah/Nate, in this case Nate, is the one that they send to the journey challenge.
He scurries about the beach to find some different colored rocks and says, if you pull this colored rock, then that means you're the winner. And he strategically puts the winning rock on top and kind of
goes to Nate first.
Yeah. Gives it to Nate. So in that moment, that shows how much Jawan trusts Nate.
Yeah. And that's something that I do want to call back to as we get into where Tribal goes at the end of this episode. So Nate is the one that goes off on the boat, meets MC on the beach, and their challenge is quite simple. Here's a shit ton of bags of sand. You've got to move it, however, it looks like maybe like 40, 50 yards from one end of the beach to the other. And we're going to flip this hourglass, and you need to get all these bags to that side of the beach before the hourglass runs out. And if you don't, then both of you go back to camp with no vote for tonight.
I was just shocked. One, that it was a co-op challenge, right? Two different people from two different tribes working together to mutually benefit each other. We don't really see that happen a lot. And I think even before in a previous one of our episodes, I was like, I wish there was more inter-tribe, mingling, connection, strategy, whatever. So this was really interesting. But if I'm MC or Nate, I'm fucking pissed. Pissed. You brought me here to do manual labor as a punishment. Yeah. You're punishing me.
It's a raw deal.
You're saying fucking do this shit or you're not going to have a vote. I'd be pissed.
Here's something that I will think play out for them, or a reason why this is still advantageous, regardless of how this shakes out, is MC and Nate, I'm pretty damn sure, are going to make it to the merge.
Oh, yeah.
Nate is co-running the Hina tribe with Savannah. MC is beloved. She is the reason that they've won several of these challenges. She's tight with Steven. They're kind of on top of the Kella tribe. I think that they're both going to go to the merge, and that's the connection between the two tribes, two people that otherwise have not spoken to each other, have not played with each other. Mm-hmm. Nate and MC are going to have a bond by the time the merge comes around. So that's something that we'll absolutely be able to call back to is this journey challenge.
Well, they spent an hour getting to know each other. You had Nate being like, give me an interesting fact about yourself. I'm going to give you some about me. We're going to talk and learn about each other. We're not just going to schlep these bags down the beach, which, by the way, I'd be like, it's a beach. Isn't there already sand over there? Why do I have to do this shit? What do I do? No.
It looks grueling.
It looks pissed.
And you can only take one bag at a time. They look heavy as shit.
Yeah, and then we even have Jeff later in the episode saying, like, this is, like, the hottest that it's been in Fiji from the last time I can remember. And I've been doing this however many years now.
Yeah.
Almost 50 seasons. And this has got to be the hottest, one of the hottest ones. So, yeah, you're schlepping 100-pound burlap sacks of sand down the beach. That's not fun. That's not fun.
I love when Nate says, oh yeah, all I'm thinking about is like taking a nap right now. And then we cut to both tribes peacefully sleeping on the beach.
Yeah.
Now, something I wanted to point out is we get a shot of the Kella tribe and they're all lined up like dead bodies in a Western,
Oh my
right?
God.
They're all napping right next to each other. And I feel like that's the only way that you can truly take a nap on Survivor is when you can basically touch the person on either side of you. Because I feel like otherwise, If you're taking a nap, it means that someone could fuck with your shit, i.e. go through your bag, look for an idol. Someone could go off on their own and idol hunt, or just go off and talk game without you.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's
you're already paranoid over there.
It's got to be like preschool. Like everyone's going down for a
Let's
nap.
interlock our fingers. Let's all hold hands. We're all going to take a nap now.
Mandatory nap time.
Yeah.
If I'm at camp with my fellow tribe members. But we get about halfway through this pile of sandbags, and MC uncovers a plate or a tile of some sort with
on a
with
box.
a message. Yeah,
Which,
on a box.
Honestly, thank God, because I started off this journey challenge full on raging. I was like, how the fuck can you extract 2 people from camp? It's already a punishment in the sense that you're not with your other tribe mates. If, someone doesn't like you, now they have a chance to strategize without you there. So already somewhat of a disadvantage by removing yourself from your tribe mates, right? Precious hours wasted not with them.
Well, yeah, it really starts out like, slow day at the office. I guess we got to really work to fill that extra half hour on the broadcast. We're just going to make people move sandbags back and forth.
Yeah, but they get, the reward was nothing net new. No. It was congrats, you keep your vote.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I already had my vote before I came here. But now you just made me do all this manual labor, and now you're saying, boo, you lost your vote, and now you're fucking exhausted. You've now lost your vote, you're fucking exhausted, and you've been away from camp X amount of times, and guess what? No one's gonna fucking believe you, maybe, when you get back and tell your story. So just not good. So we see this box come up, and it basically says that one person can go into the jungle. We've hidden an advantage in the jungle. You can go look at it, but that means that the other person must continue to schlep the bags of sand down the beach, and like you still have to finish in the allotted time from the hourglass, and if you don't, you will lose your vote.
There's another way that they could play. They could both go hunt for the advantage. However, yeah, if the hourglass runs out while they're both looking for the advantage, they will both lose their vote. If one person finds the advantage first, then the other person is responsible to complete the challenge, slug the rest of those sandbags alone, or they will lose their vote. So then you have an advantage, or they lose their vote. It's like you're fucked twice.
And they kind of do little column A, column B, and they come at it very strategically.
I'm really impressed with Nate.
Yeah, here. Nate's like, so this is what we're going to do, MC. We're going to continue schlepping or slugging or whatever, dragging. I guess they don't really drag. Maybe that was something that they weren't allowed to do.
I was wondering if they would be able to do that or not.
It didn't look like it.
There seemed to be enough slack in the bags that I would try dragging them like one in each arm down the beach, at least to just save some of the pressure on my shoulders.
Or even if you can only drag one at a time, you can switch turns like with your right, with your left to make it more even. I don't know.
I'm really not sure.
It all sucks. It's hot. You're sandy. You have to walk a lot and lift a bunch of fucking sand, and so it sucks no matter how you do it. But they basically say, okay, cool, we're gonna continue with our sandbags as nothing happened. Yep, and we're gonna take the final sandbag and put it just outside of the clearance zone, and we're gonna agree to go out and look for the idol together, or the advantage. And I thought that was very, very interesting. I feel like very diplomatic. You could have had someone, MC could have been like, no, fuck you, Nate, and just start sprinting into the jungle, right?
And
like
it's Nate realizing, it's Nate with an incredible read. He has spent the last hour, however long it's been, working his ass off, but also getting to know MC, and they're working together because at this point they just think that they're in this together. And he also knows that if it becomes a foot race through the jungle to try and find this advantage, MC is going to find it.
Yeah.
Because she is just stronger than him. She's more physically able, and he doesn't have a chance. So he evens the playing field by just it increases. Maybe it doesn't increase his chance, but it decreases her chance. Right. Of finding it. And they have less of a window. So they go off looking together. And Nate at this point has like burned himself out. He's not interested in finding this advantage.
He's like,
but
get me off this fucking island. Get me back to my Hina camp.
He doesn't want MC to find it either, because it is something that she could carry with her into the merge. And he waits long enough, and then he calls out, because he's next to the hourglass. He calls out to MC, "Hey MC, time's about up. We got to hurry back so that we can, finish this out together and neither of us lose our vote." MC relents. She comes back to the beach, and this is the interesting part: is she notices that there is plenty of time left.
She's got I got 30 minutes left. What are you talking about?
Kind of picks up on the fact that Nate called her back early, but at this point she is also resigned. She is also cooked.
Yeah,
and says,
they're
"All right,
exhausted.
I'm done. I just want to complete this and go back to camp." And they just leave it at that. And so I thought it was kind of a crazy shot for Nate to take, to assume that she would give up, or at least to hope, because then, I mean, you could come off as someone who's like clearly trying to burn her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes, "All right, well, now I'm going to find this advantage. And when the merge does come around, I don't fucking trust you."
Well, she already has an advantage too.
Yeah.
So she's probably sitting there like,
That's another case.
do I really
didn't
like?
think about
It'd be
that. She
nice
doesn't
to
need
have
it.
another one. Sure.
Yeah.
But I already have one. So do I want to keep wasting my time, my energy, and my effort into this thing? Yes or no? She ultimately decides no. It would have been very difficult for me to make that decision for sure. But again, I didn't just spend an hour or however long busting my ass, right?
Yeah.
Like I just had a snack. I had a little coffee. Like I would be like, yeah, let me go look for that idol. And that's what I always want to be very like cognizant about on our show here together. Is you have a lot of haters online that would be like, "Oh, I do this or I do that." Just blanket statement, like I don't want to be out there. I don't want to be doing that, but I will continue to judge you based on your decisions that you make out there. But in no way, shape, or form am I over here being like, yeah, I could do that. Like, no. You are better than me. You are out there doing the thing. Like, props. Like, my comments like should not mean anything to you. Like, you did the damn thing, and I am not doing the damn thing. So hat off to everyone still, and everything that they're doing there. But yeah, I do think it was a little funny of Nate to kind of pull that, and he
pulled it off.
He was strategizing on top of his strategy that he presented.
Yeah, he's a really sharp guy.
Yeah.
And you see him continue that as they get into tribal later on.
He even strategized with the comments that he was saying to her to get to know each other. We didn't see him say, "Oh yeah, I'm in film. I'm in," no one knows that he's,
Like
big wig Marvel producer, whatever. But they do know that he has worked on set of movies. They talked about Spider-Man or whatever. But he says, "Oh, I'm a stay-at-home dad."
Great answer.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be anyone's like go-to answer if they can successfully pull off that if they have kids. I think it'd be hard to lie about if you don't have kids.
Oh, I'd go and I lie about a whole family. I'd be like, yeah, I have 12 kids, and if I don't win this million, then like we're fucked. Don't vote me out.
So they both go back to camp. "Hey guys, nothing happened. I was able to keep my vote. Now I'm gassed for the immunity challenge," which I want to get into. But first, we have to address last week's episode of Backdoors and Blindsides. Comments that were made.
Mm-hmm.
So last week we recapped episode 4, which is when the tribe switch happened.
Yes.
With the tribe switch happening, that also cut down the number of immunity idols.
Right.
Because there was with 3 tribes, there was a first place and second place. They each received their own immunity idol.
Statue.
And it was a statue, yeah. And it was a merman with a trident and a mermaid. And what we said last week was they got rid of they threw out the merman statue.
Yeah, I think they like held it out in front of them and like punted it like a football into the ocean, and it shattered into a million pieces, and we never will see it again.
So our only gripe that we stated on the podcast was that, oh, well, the merman statue had the trident and the mermaid didn't have the trident. So in the middle of watching this week's episode 5 of Survivor 49, we pause and we go back to the previous episode to try and figure out what we got wrong, because now we feel like fools. We spent a handful of minutes talking about this mermaid statue that doesn't have a trident on this episode that we released to the public. We're worried that we've lost our credibility as podcasters, as people who can recap reality television like this.
Experts, if you will.
We go back to the immunity challenge from episode 4. Son of a bitch, that mermaid statue has a fucking trident. We're convinced that we have gotten this wrong. We go to episodes 1, 2, 3, immunity challenges. The mermaid has a trident.
Not only that, but we are looking at the immunity statues before the challenge when Jeff introduces them, saying, oh, these are the fancy new idols that you'll be after. And then also the aftermath of the challenge when he hands them the immunity statue. And we do that for every single episode because I'll be damned if I misspoke and we had that whole conversation and we both just imagined no trident on the mermaid.
Here's where the detective brains finally kicked in after 20 minutes of trying to figure out if we were crazy or not. We realized the only other time that we saw these idols, or specifically when we spoke about it on the podcast, was at the tribe switch at the beginning of episode 4. So we go to the tribe switch, and guess what we found? If you go to this episode at the time code of 42 minutes and 13 seconds,
you're gonna put the actual photo that you took of our evidence in account right above us.
There is a clear shot of Jeff Probst standing next to both immunity idol statues. There's the merman with his trident and the mermaid with a staff, but no head to the trident.
And I was sitting there like, I was right. We were right. It didn't have a trident on it. And that's the one moment that we internalized. And all the other times that we saw the immunity statues out, we were like, yes, she does not have the trident because this is the big moment, right? He takes one of them away. I was like, yes, female power. We're sticking with the mermaid, not the merman. Cool.
So we try to figure out what the fuck happened. If you go back just a couple extra minutes, a couple extra seconds, whatever, the Uli tribe, the original Uli tribe, is the tribe that shows up with this immunity idol. I believe it's Rizzo who is the one to hand it back to Jeff. And sure enough, Rizzo is handing Jeff a statue that is missing the top of the trident. Now, for continuity's sake, if you go back to the immunity challenge where Uli won that statue, it still has the trident,
there.
which means that in the time that Uli took that statue back to camp overnight and brought it back to the tribe switch the next day on day 4, something happened to the trident.
I need to know. Former Uli, Jeff Probst, I need to know what happened to the mermaid's staff.
What did you do? What did you do to the mermaid? You think they dropped it?
Could have.
You think they were playing catch with it,
I
throwing it like a
think
football?
so. Yeah. You see like after the Stanley Cup, when they win, they're drinking the beer. I think when I can't remember what team it was won the World Series, they fucking trashed that trophy.
It's probably the fucking Phillies.
Probably. But I think they were like driving around with it on it was just like clanking around.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Seinfeld when George ties the Yankees World Series trophy to the back of his car and is driving around in the parking lot?
You know what? That sounds more like what I'm thinking of right now, and that's exactly what it was. Yep, I'm misconstruing fact for Seinfeld, which is most of my life, really. I think.
I have to take it back. I love shitting on the Phillies, but I don't think that we can get away with that one.
No.
Another instance of conflating Seinfeld with real life. Yeah, I think that's when George is actively trying. He's doing whatever he can to get fired from the Yankees.
Yeah, you are correct. And Seinfeld lives in my mind rent free, so it's definitely blurred with reality for some things.
Amazing. So we are calling on every member of the Uli tribe.
We are calling on Jeff Probst himself to tell us what happened to the mermaid's trident between those two challenges.
I'm going to call them out by name. Sage, Shannon, Nate, Rizzo, Jawan, Savannah. What did you guys do to that idol? need to know.
The mystery. We have Hawkeyes. Nothing gets by us. We need to know.
It'd be so fucking awesome if we're the only people who notice this, by the way. If you
haven't
noticed
seen
it
anything
while
on
watching, don't comment. Send us a DM because we would love to know if you picked up on it as well. Just let us take credit for this one.
I truly thought I was going crazy, not seeing the trident there with her again, and I couldn't believe it. And then I was relieved when I saw it. And we're not crazy. We're crazy in different ways, but not this way.
So we get to the actual immunity challenge with our refurbished statue of the mermaid with the trident.
We just stuck, chewed some gum, put it on there, slapped it back on.
And we get another reward with this challenge. You called it, by the way.
Yeah.
As we are getting to Jeff pulling the blanket off of this mystery box, you say chickens. And sure enough, it's 4 chickens.
Look at all those thickens.
This is like a regular
Yes.
a reward, right? That's
Yes.
like every season?
Right.
Okay.
Just about.
So very different than the fruit platter from last
Which
week.
I was begging Jeff to quit back to Sophie and be like, is this good enough for you? Here's your protein. You eat this on a diet.
It was the perfect time
It
for
was.
that. I wonder if maybe that
And
just got cut
we
from
didn't
the episode.
We didn't get sassy Jeff. I would love to see an outtake if he actually commented to Sophie about that.
So the challenge is there are 2 giant bamboo cages with open tops and open bottoms in the water, submerged, like half submerged in the water, basically. Your tribe has to climb up these cages, jump into the center, and then as a team, walk it through the water onto shore. One person crawls out to underneath, like digs through the sand, crawls out underneath the cage to untie 3 balls that the tribe must shoot from inside the cage into raised nets that increase in height, like in a line. It's basketball, baby. And so Christina is the person who sits out from the Kela tribe because Hina is 1 person short. I love that immediately Christina says, "You guys got this," and before she can even finish, she's sticking her head under the bench looking for an advantage.
She's fondling underneath of it, like, where the fuck is this advantage? I'm gonna find it.
And that's when you're the only person sitting out. I feel like it's got to be the first thing that you do.
Oh, yeah.
Survivor 1-on-1, as you explained to me.
I would be like, sorry, everyone, just a second. And I'd flip the whole bench over. And I'd be like, all right, we're good. There's no advantage down
You're
here.
knocking on
either,
it.
Yeah.
You dig in the sand a little bit.
Yeah,
just to be
exactly.
safe.
I'd be like, I'm just going to do this out in the open. I'm going to be honest about it. And no one's going to be suspicious of me for sitting out on the sit-out bench.
It's the most physically grueling challenge.
Poor MC.
Yet.
And Nate.
And yes, this is MC and Nate coming fresh off of a mere hours ago, destroying their backs and shoulders, schlepping these sandbags across the
Ooh, you
beach.
used my word. I said it enough times and it finally got into your vernacular.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you using the junkies lingo in everyday life.
I never do that.
Sized and silly and all of that stuff.
I like a good silly. I like to silly before them.
So Nate is the one who collapses inside the cage, the Hina cage, and he just says, "I'm spent, guys. I can't go anymore." He's on the back, right? He's not leading, but he's on the sides, and it just seems to me like you need your strength on the sides of the cage because that's where the weight is. There's not as much weight in the center because there's no objects there. So you're putting most of the weight is going to be on either the left or the right shoulder of people on the outside of this group, because there are long pieces of bamboo that go through the cages that they're using to kind of hoist over their backs. There are sandbags at the bottom of their cages.
They forgot
that they need to
one
remove.
of them.
And Kela, who is the first tribe to reach the beach, gets there with 1 sandbag still on the front of it. And I think it's Steven
why
who
is it
yells
so
out,
heavy?
"There's a fucking sandbag on the side of that, Alex."
Yeah.
So that's kind of amazing. They just missed that when they were diving down to untie all of the bags. But Hina is struggling to get their cage up there because Nate's in the back. He's gassed. They get a little lippy with each other. Nate is frustrated that someone is calling on him to push harder. And we see Jawan grit his teeth,
This
and look
guy.
like he is moving that whole fucking thing by himself up the beach.
A work
He looks like a monster.
Yeah, he was carrying the whole team on his back in that challenge
this is
for
another
sure.
instance of Juwan, I think, proving his worth to his tribe.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the issue of getting around Savannah at that point, and we'll get to that in pre-tribal. But Kella is the first to arrive to the mark, meaning you've brought your cage far enough. They start digging, and then sure enough, Hina finally makes it. It takes them a second to like lock their cage in, but they finally make it, and it's clear that like Nate can't go any further. He's probably going to be fucked for days after this. So it'll be interesting to see how he performs in the physical challenges over the next couple of weeks on the show. And it turns into a shootout between Alex on the Kella tribe and Rizzo on the Hina tribe. And it becomes neck and neck. I do love that. I think we see them at first, they're shooting like they're on the basketball court, you know, with the one arm kind of overhead. And then I think Rizzo is the first to start shooting kind of granny style.
Yeah.
And that is what lands the first shot. And then Alex follows suit. And then pretty soon, yeah, it's a shootout of granny style shots between Rizzo and Alex. I said Rizzo's from the Bronx. You know that he plays basketball. You know he knows what he's doing. And Kella ultimately wins in this neck and neck shootout. They both land 2. And it's honestly, I think, a matter of time who can just get the ball back faster. Because I think it's MC and Sophie with an E are the two, or maybe it's regardless. We're shooting out of these cages. Kella wins. It's another big win for them, meaning that Sophie has lost 5 immunity challenges in a row. I think it is safe to say that the curse is on Sophie.
Yeah, it's bummer, girl.
And it's not affecting her game outright, but she's bringing it to her tribe. So
maybe because she needs to, waft some sage around her, and other Sophie is actually on the tribe with capital S Sage, and so she has the sage, and the other Sophie actually needs the sage to cleanse her gameplay.
Sage is the balancing force.
I
Take
guess.
that, Shannon.
Take that, Shannon.
So before we go to pre-tribal on the sad Hina Beach, Kella gets to take home their reward, their crate of 4 chickens. And just to recap, like the members of the Kella tribe, it's Alex, Sage, Shannon, Christina, MC, Steven, and Sophie with an E. Pretty quickly, everyone is kind of devastated that they're going to have to kill these chickens. I'm surprised that Shannon didn't intervene. You thought that was going to happen because in past survivors, there are people who take issue with the consumption.
There have been chicken bandits. People have opened the, little chicken coop cage and let the chickens out because they couldn't bear them being killed, and, ultimately pissed off the rest of the tribe. There were people scurrying about the island trying to catch their chickens again.
I just feel like that's an immediate way to go home.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't
Absolutely.
know what is there to be gained from that? And look, like, if it goes against your lifestyle, your beliefs, like, just don't eat, man. But
that's not what Shannon did. Shannon took all the girls of the tribe. They all kind of, hooked their arms together and skipped down to the beach, and they got into a prayer circle and were worshiping and praying to the chicken gods or something. I don't know.
Surprisingly enough, Sage is the one who was most affected by it.
Yeah, she said she grew up with chickens.
She grew up with chickens as pets. And she said she's, it's not like she doesn't eat meat, but she seems to, like, really be hurt. I thought that, yeah, like, maybe Shannon, just because of the way that she's presented herself on the beach, would have the biggest issue here. But no, it's Sage, where she has, like, her head between her legs, and she's, like, crying, and everyone's around her, consoling her. It is amazing that, like, before they get out of earshot, Alex and Steven clearly grab this first chicken, and the sounds that this chicken's making, this distress, like, oh, this chicken's gonna fucking die, and we can all hear it right now. So they start to, like, jog away from camp. But yeah, it is left to Alex and Steven, and they both admit, like, they're not the type of guys who come from this. They're not farmers, right?
Right.
Like, they're not around having to kill an animal for sustenance.
Alex even says, like, you know, there's this disconnect. You know, I eat a chicken sandwich and I don't think two things about it. And I think that's just a lot of our culture in, you know, quote unquote first world problem, right? Like everything's so manufactured, everything's so detached from the actual being that is being harvested for our nutrition and enjoyment, that there's a huge disconnect when you actually see the living, breathing thing in front of you. And it's like, all right, you want a chicken wing? It's running around over there. You got to go kill it.
Yeah, well,
you're like, no, I don't know if I want the chicken wing anymore.
And I mean, I got to hand it to Steven and Alex. Like they get right down to business. And like, I'm not going to say, oh, like it's a man's job, but like anyone is capable of doing this if they can get into the right headspace. I mean, dude, I would hate doing something like this. I've never had to kill an animal. I don't even like fishing.
Well, that's a separate issue that you have. You don't
Well,
you don't like the fish. You don't like their little beady eyes.
And it freaks me out.
Their slimy, scaly body.
Fish freak me out kind of the way that birds freak out Christina.
Yeah.
Honestly. But they decide strangulation is the best way to get around this. Is that the most common way to kill a chicken on Survivor?
I mean, they have a machete. They could have like stretched its neck out and done one of those. I mean, I don't know if they like strangled it or if they like did one of these, like a breaking of the neck and like one.
There is this kind of amazing moment. It's just and like, is it sad that they had to kill an animal? Sure, I'm not saying that that's amazing, but it is amazing that the two of them. They're like, is it? I think it's. Yeah, we got it. And then they're just like, holy shit, dude! Like we just killed a chicken. Like they're both in disbelief and they're not celebrating it, but they have this moment of like, bro, holy shit! I can't believe we just did that. And like that's like the raw shit on Survivor that. It is just it's I think the best part of the show, honestly.
Yeah, I mean we go back earlier where I said that Alex was going to Steven saying like, I think Shannon's playing too hard, right? They were already trying to build a bond there. Now they're fucking trauma bonded. They fucking killed a thing together and then they sat there for God knows how long plucking each feather out of the chicken.
I'm glad you brought that up. I would go a little further away from camp to defeather the chicken.
Yeah, they're
doing it like right in front of the shelter, right next to the fire. There's going to be chicken feathers all over the place. They don't have a fucking broom.
No.
They don't have a shark vacuum.
They don't have a Roomba.
Yeah, there's no Roomba on Survivor. So I would I would be a little more mindful, but also I guess like who's going to complain coming back from the beach? They weren't the ones that actually had to fucking do it. And then sure enough, we see every member of the tribe chowing down on seared island chicken. Right?
Island chicken. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a little, I feel like, graphic when they were sitting there plucking the feathers out. We had a few zooms on the dead chicken legs. I don't know.
Nat Geo, man.
Yeah, I guess so. But you mentioned earlier, have you ever slaughtered anything?
No.
No,
I don't even I didn't like fishing because I didn't like putting the worm on the hook.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the snake with the weed whacker.
Oh, right.
Like that's about as far as I've ever gotten.
Yeah, I've killed a few snakes, but I don't think I've ever.
Well, you're the one who grew up essentially in farmland.
I was not on a farm. We had a handful of cows, like 5 or 6 or whatever.
What else did you have?
I had ducks. Yeah. I had 6 ducks at one point.
What else?
We had 2 rabbits at one point. We had 2 parakeets. We had dogs. We had cats. But these are all. We also had some fish and some snails.
Any chickens?
No chickens. I had a turtle.
That's a farm. You're describing a farm.
Yes, but they were all like.
You just described the cast of Barnyard.
But they were all like kind of like separated out. It wasn't like we had all of those animals at one point.
If you have cows, it's a farm. Cows, pigs, or chickens, that's farm.
Yeah, but it's for land use purposes. It's not like they're dairy cows and I'm out there milking them.
Oh, so now we're getting into like the semantics of agriculture. If you're not producing a product, then it's not a farm. It's just a house.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But we did, but on the topic of slaughtering, fun side personal story here is we occasionally would have like a calf or a cow that my dad and one of his friends, they would raise this animal together on my parents' property. And usually
teach it shapes and colors and the ABCs.
Right, exactly. All the things that you need to learn before you get slaughtered. And once it's to a certain age and weight, they would take it to go to slaughter.
They'd ice that fucker.
Yeah. I would like, interact with the cows. I would have my little cow friends. I lived in the middle of nowhere, so live beings to listen to me yammer on were few and far between. So
did you talk to the cows?
I mean, I didn't like talk. I mean, you call them.
What did you say to the cows?
When you call them and to feed, you'd be like, "Come on, girl,
come here, buddy."
You call them, yeah. And I had one that a few of the babies that were separate to slaughter, they went to auction, which also tragic and sad. The mothers would just sit there and move for hours and hours, and it was so sad, and I hated watching it. But
who was your favorite childhood friend cow?
Probably Buddy.
Buddy? Mm-hmm. How's Buddy doing nowadays?
I mean, cows, I've learned recently, live 10 to 12 years normally.
He's still kicking? Buddy didn't go to the...
I mean, I don't think this was like I was a child, so
okay.
Buddy's probably not dead.
Okay, cool.
Probably dead.
Buddy didn't walk the Green Mile?
He lived, I would assume, a long, happy life.
Good.
Anyways, so my dad would, raise a cow, and sometimes it would be like sectioned off in the like corral, so it could get like the better meals than the other cows, right? Because it's going to slaughter. So, my dad didn't tell my mom when the cow was going to slaughter. And again, we're trying not to name it. We're trying not to get close to it because it will be food. The other ones we got maybe a little more social with, right? And my dad took the cow to slaughter, and they make all the burgers and the sirloins and they all the other pieces. They give you basically it all back in these Ziploc or oh my God, I'm blanking on it.
Like Target bags?
No, not Target bags.
Oh, okay.
No, like with the air. This sucks the air out of the bag.
Vacuum seal?
Vacuum seal,
okay.
Yes. Thank you. I don't know why I was struggling with that. They basically give you this like giant coolers, multiple coolers worth of vacuum sealed, pre-cut out portion meat. Well, my dad takes that cooler, and we had a separate basement freezer, and he fills the entire freezer with the cow.
Nice.
My mom, meanwhile, she is at Costco or wherever getting food. She gets frozen stuff. She gets home, and she goes down to the basement to put the extra frozen stuff in there, and she opens it up, and it's wall to wall cow. To this day, she has not eaten an ounce of beef.
How long ago was this?
I had to have been in the 10, 12 range.
Since I've known you.
Yeah, this happened probably, I was between 10 and 12. And meanwhile, my dad's like, "You want a burger?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Grills up a burger. I'm sitting there. It's so fucked up.
Wait a second. I didn't know this part.
It's so fucked up. I'm all jazzed for this very, very fresh, homegrown burger. And
the same day?
I mean, maybe not the same day.
The same week?
Probably.
Oh, come on.
He grills up a burger, and I'm having the best burger of my life, sitting on the back patio, overlooking all the other cows. I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, this thing's great."
You guys are monsters. You guys are fucking monsters.
Yeah,
you think about the vegetarians listening to this right now?
Yeah,
they're going to unsubscribe.
They're probably really upset. So apologies.
They're going to get us canceled.
Would I ever do that as an adult? Absolutely fucking not. One, I'm not living in a place where I can have cows. But two, I would be too fucked up to actually do that. And I wasn't the decision maker. It was my parents. They did it. And but I will say, I'll be damned if I've ever had a better burger than that in my entire life.
Oh, yeah?
It was the best burger I've ever had.
Nameless cow, though, right?
Nameless cow.
You're not eating Eugene?
No.
Okay.
No, not Buddy.
That's kind of evil shit. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
not.
I understand the vegetarianism now.
Yeah, I mean, well, she's not vegetarian. She just strictly.
I just mean for others.
Oh,
anyone listening to this.
My mom, though, she was absolutely horrified when she saw, cow carcass in her freezer that was literally, she heard mooing like the same heard it moving the same morning.
It's been 15 years. We should try and get her to move on. I'd like to use this opportunity of the chicken celebration to call upon a particular skill that my wife and co-host has. Something that makes a rare appearance in our house and even rarer away from our house.
You're going to put this on me right now?
And if we're incredibly lucky, it does come out in a crowded bar. We've been known for we're not known for it, but we've tried out some impressions on this show. We've done Julie Chen Moonves. We've done some players from Big Brother. We were just working on our Jeff Probst earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
Now, your impression repertoire goes beyond reality TV. It goes beyond the human race. Perhaps your most famous impression of all time is that of a chicken. Yeah,
I can do a mean chicken. Again, growing up, didn't have chickens, but we heard the neighbors had chickens. You'd hear the roosters early in the morning. And again, fast or high speed internet. We had, HBO, that was our primary entertainment. Nice. And no neighborhood kids to hang out with, so I had to make my own entertainment. And with that was, I'm like a raven, or like was it mockingjay, or just a African gray bird. We'll say on the topic of birds, I can do like animal impressions pretty well. And so you're asking me to do my chicken?
Well, I want a little more context. So how long have you been doing this impression?
Probably as a child.
Oh wow!
Since childhood, yes.
Wow. Okay. So this is like up there with like Baldwin doing Trump, some of those like great SNL comedians doing presidents and stuff like that. Something that really is cemented in television history. So you've been doing this since you were a kid. Were you doing this for other people, or were you just doing it on your own? Were you showing your parents? Were you showing your siblings?
Maybe I was doing it like first to like practice into
so you were doing this by yourself before?
Yeah, maybe. We'd have a long bus walk down our driveway, and you'd hear the roosters from the other farm next to, or the farm next to us, because the other one would imply that we were the other farm, which we were not.
Perfect.
And yeah, I would walk down and I'd entertain myself.
I think that there is no better time than now to share this impression with the listeners of Backdoors and Blindsides. A little treat for those who chose to continue with the show, or to come in as a new listener to check out our Survivor 49 recap season.
This has never been broadcasted before.
No.
Only the people lucky enough to be close to me,
under
around
10
me.
people in our lives have heard this impression.
Well, the streets of New York City one time when I was a little, they heard it, because our friend asked. We were leaving a restaurant, and she was like, "Hey, make the chicken noise." She knew that if I was vulnerable, I might be able to make the chicken noise. And I sure as hell made that chicken noise in busy ass Chinatown in New York City. Yeah.
Can I request that you put a little distance between yourself and your microphone?
Yeah.
Just you can move it away a little bit. Maybe just hang on to it so it doesn't fall over.
Okay. Here, is that good enough for you? Is that?
Yeah, it should be.
And again, for our listeners and our viewers, before I crack my knuckles and bust this out again, I haven't done it in a while. This is me. This is not a sound effect. This is from my vocal cords and
unedited.
Unedited. I don't know if I'll be able to keep a straight face.
You gotta.
Okay.
Quick, kill it! Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm interested to watch that back, because I've never seen myself do it before. I feel like my my like cheeks are really going to be sloshing around there.
Well, that's the thing. You really lean into it. Like there's physical. The best impressions include physical movement, even if it's an audio medium.
I can't get the sound without like trying to like slap my cheeks around.
People are going to crash their fucking car if they're listening to that while they're driving.
They might. And I'm proud of that chicken impression that I just gave. I would say that is pretty on par with the ones in the past that I gave. So you all are really getting a treat here.
Yeah. You're welcome, B&B listeners. And if you're going to share the show with people, maybe just lead with that impression.
Is this going to be a social reel? Just me making chicken noise?
We might keep that one for a rainy day.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing
you're
with
welcome.
us. Let's close out the show by going to the Hina tribe.
Okay. Yeah.
They've lost
again
2 days in a row.
Yep. Sophie's cursed.
Sophie's 5th day in a row going to tribal. And things haven't really changed from the top of the episode. Everyone's saying, it's Jason, we're going to do Jason. Jason finally decides to go to Nate and say, hey, Nate, I don't want to go home. I would love to do whatever you guys are feeling. Let me know. Is it Juwan? I'll write down Juwan. Is it Rizzo? I'll write down Rizzo. I'll do whatever it takes to keep me. And brother, it's too little too late. Why? Where was this attitude 24 hours ago when you were still pretending that you were going to get anywhere by protecting your relationship with Matt?
And being Hina strong or whatever. Which I find this, what happens next, very, very interesting. So previously you had Savannah trying to flip the Matt vote to get Jason out because they think that Jason's just steadfast Hina and like they don't like the way he was like talking about a shot in the dark, potentially using it. So her and Sophie vote Jason. Savannah seems to change her tune a little bit after Juwan comes in and steals her water bottle and is eavesdropping on all her conversations, quote unquote. And she is like, how do I maybe save Jason so we could potentially do Juwan tonight? So she basically goes to Jason and says, listen, Jason, you are actually in a position of power. You have some power because you are the only thread that this Uli tribe has to the other Hina on the other side, in the other camp. You're our only thread. So in order for us to have good relationships moving forward, we are going to need to, keep you to work with you and to have you be our, Uli ambassador. You are on the other side. Tell them how good we are, And Jason goes, yeah, you're right, Savannah. You're right. Ooh, good idea. So then he starts going and using that. He did not strategize that. It was Savannah who planted that seed and he ran with it and he ran well with it. A little too late, maybe, yes. But I also don't think that's true though, because they're forgetting that they have other Hina and other Uli on the other tribe.
That's true.
So there would be that other like reverse thread for that connection.
Yeah, they've already seemingly forgotten about Sage and Shannon. I haven't heard them mention them once.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I wouldn't really be thinking about right now. I'm thinking about how am I going to get through the next couple of days to get to the merge. Right? Interesting response from Nate when Jason is saying that he's willing to work with them. He's willing to write Juwan. Nate tells Jason, I've got to go talk to Savannah about it. This is the first time that Nate is outright confirming to us that decisions aren't made without Savannah. Now, I think it's really the two of them who are running things, but Savannah is the face of the operation, right? We've talked about this for weeks already.
Well, she doesn't want to be. She actually tees up the potential of a Juwan vote to Nate and tries to make it feel like Nate's idea. Like, oh, you know what? That is a good idea, Nate. Oh, Jason said that to you? Huh, yeah, well, if we keep Jason, then who does that mean that we vote out? Oh, wow, what a great idea, Nate.
Do you think that she's laying it on too thick? Because her whole personality is sort of boisterous, right? So, like, everything, like, all of her words, her facial expressions are, like, a little exaggerated. It just seems to be who she is. So do you think that she's coming off as disingenuous, or you think they've spent enough time with her? Because at this point, we've been talking about Savannah for 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They've only known her for 5 days.
Right. I think that they kind of see her for who she is. But I do think her and Nate have a good bond. And I would even say, Rizzo is right in there with them too. I think she's made a strong bond with Sophie with an I. So I think she has kind of woven herself in.
What's up with Babe, by the way?
What?
She keeps calling Nate Babe.
What?
You didn't notice that?
No.
Twice. Once when they're in the cage during the challenge, she's like, come on, babe, you got this. And then again, when they're talking game in the jungle, she says something like, yeah, I got you, babe. Like, it's you. Like, that came out of nowhere, right? We haven't heard that in previous episodes.
No. And if Nate was Ace from Love Island, if any of you watch that, God forbid a woman call a man babe in the most recent season of Love Island.
Is that problematic on that show?
Yeah, it was. He got mad because the girl who he was currently dating, who turned out to win the show, not with him, she kept calling him babe, and he didn't like that.
I mean, I don't think that she's necessarily trying to schmooze him. Like, I'm not implying that. Like,
it's just like a term of
poverty.
endearment.
Yeah, like it could be. It seemed to come out of nowhere, and I'm like, did they build this overnight?
But
like, what's happening?
I didn't pick up on that, but that would then reinforce my poverty comment about Shannon.
Also, though,
Savannah.
Yeah, you're right. Like that does seem to line up, but I feel like it is a little dicey to have this pet name between two people in front of the rest of your tribe if you're not giving other people pet names, right?
If she's calling everyone babe, or I think that's fine.
We'll have to look out for it if she's calling anyone else.
I'll look out for the babe. But we ultimately have not a Juwan vote, which Survivor production and editing, you got me, because again, this entire episode I was like, he's going. They showed us a little snippet. I still think they're teeing us up for a Juwan vote. Like, I don't think he's winning.
On the bottom.
I don't think he's winning right now,
because Jason's the one that goes home.
Right.
And
so
he goes
Jason
home 4-1.
Yeah, Jason goes home and he doesn't play a shot in the dark.
Why?
Like, I just couldn't understand what, like, in that entire post challenge and pre-tribal time, not once did we hear someone going to Jason and being like, Jason, it's Juwan. Like, hey, it's this person. We are fed up with them. We don't like them. We want to keep you here. This is we don't hear anything like that. So if that was accurate, that he wasn't told another name or anything like that, why would you not play your shot in the dark?
Yeah. I
mean, it is up to chance. You do lose your vote, but guess what, Jason? Your vote didn't really matter anyways, and it was gonna be, that would have been the time to be like, I'm playing my shot in the dark.
And there's
not last week.
There's no reason for production to hide a segment of someone telling him, yeah, it's Juwan, or yeah, it's Rizzo. Because he writes Rizzo's name down, which is interesting.
Which I was like, where did that come from?
At the Hina camp or at the old Uli camp is ever talking about Rizzo.
No.
Everyone seems to love Rizzo, and he seems very safe in the current situation. So I just think that Jason wanted to go home.
Really?
I think that he wasn't having a good time on the island, and then the tribe switch really shook him up. He lost his one ally. He lost his
confidence.
His confidence. He was really speaking from like a lack of confidence, like through this whole episode, really from the top. Well, let's call back all the way to the beginning of the episode when they come back from tribal after they send Matt home. They say, Jason, do you want to talk? He's just sort of like, yeah, I get it. Like, I understand, guys. Like, I'm going to like, let me process, and like, I just need some time. No, dude, you have to say, hey guys, thank you so much for keeping me safe. I'm a part of the tribe now. Because then what does he do? He goes and sleeps by himself on the fucking beach that night.
Yeah.
That's something that I forgot to point out. He's like withdrawn from them. I think that he just gave up on the game, which is a bummer because he was like the puzzle guy at the start of the season. He had been victorious with 2 puzzle wins, winning immunity for his team. And I think he just gave up. That's why he doesn't roll his shot in the dark. That's why he writes down a random name. He writes down Rizzo instead of Juwan. Like, if you're holding out for any hope that it's not you, you know that it's got to be Juwan. Because that's kind of what the buzz is, or what they're trying to convince you, what Nate might be trying to convince you, or Savannah's trying to convince you.
No, but him and Juwan are buddies.
Right.
They're
and so I think,
geeking out over Pokemon.
Right. And so he's
but
like, all right, I guess I'm out.
I will add a counter to that. I do think he tried to weave himself into the tribe. I don't think it was he went down without swinging. I think it was a sad little swing at the end where he should have been played his one, maybe piece of power that he could have leveraged, being the shot in the dark. But he did seem like he was trying to like get around and like trying to be likable so people would want to keep him. And yeah, he was getting close with Juwan because maybe that could be his saving grace. I don't think he had a read on it. I don't think he had a read on the tribe at all, because you would have written down Juwan's name, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't think he had a read on it.
He was just
so
on the outs, completely.
Yeah,
on the
I think
outs.
he's completely on the outs. I think people are just kind of feeding him whatever. But no, I don't think he necessarily like, relented. I think he tried and was like, I tried.
Yeah,
Meh.
he just kind of gave up towards
Yeah.
the end there. For anyone who's maybe watching Survivor for the first time this season as they listen along, can you explain the shot in the dark?
Yeah, shot in the dark is, and this is a new era Survivor thing. They basically have a die, and there's one safe, and all the other say unsafe.
It's a 6-sided die, right?
Yep, and they roll it, and whatever it lands on is what they get.
And this
And
happens at Tribal
This happens when they go to write their vote
before the tribe votes.
during. Right.
Okay.
So you walk up, you act like you're going to vote, and you basically say, I'm not voting. I'm giving up my vote, to then roll the shot in the dark. And you are handed a little scroll. You take that scroll, you pocket it, you go sit back down on your little stump. And when Jeff says, does anyone have an advantage or an idol? Now is the time to play it. Then you say, Jeff, I played my shot in the dark, and you present him the scroll, and he unravels it and holds it out and says, it either says safe or not safe.
So you do it in
And
secret. You don't tell anyone that
Right.
you're doing it.
You
ahead
do
of
it
time.
in secret.
Okay.
And then you reveal, and then you also are seeing the result live when Jeff is showing everyone. It's only been successful once. It has only ever been rolled a handful of times.
I was about to say, I don't think I've seen it happen on Survivor.
No, it's really
in
not.
recent seasons.
I don't. I'm over it, honestly, as an OG Survivor watcher. Like, I'm over the shot in the dark. I don't think I would rather have more idols in play, or like cut and dry advantages than the shot in the dark. I think it's, I don't know.
Well, I think in this instance, it would at least make the show a little more interesting. Where, like, yeah, they do have to pivot and maybe vote Juwan now because we said this at the end of last episode. Jason's next. That's going to be the most cookie cutter episode. Is Jason is next, and there's not going to be any big wows.
Well, they tried to like throw us off the Jason vote out
Juwan
sent with
diversion.
I mean, I still don't think Juwan is in a good position, especially now. I think Matt and Jason were his shields in a way. But I'm interested to see if this Hina tribe continues their losing streak, and if they do lose again, what happens? Is it going to be Sophie that goes because she's not, former Uli? Is it going to be, Juwan? Is Uli going to start eating themselves alive on this tribe to vote someone out? And I think it could go a handful of ways. I don't think Sophie leaves.
I think so either.
I think Sophie is there to write it out. I think Savannah is, super tight with her. If anything, I do think it's Juwan who leaves. I think Savannah's either able to drum up enough skepticism and annoyance and whatever to blindside Juwan, or Juwan catches wind of it. He goes to Nate and Rizzo, and it is a Savannah blindside. So I think optically people would be like, oh, Sophie's next on that tribe because she's not an original Uli. But really, I do think it's in between Juwan and Savannah.
Well, and Juwan confirmed in this past tribal that he was on the bottom, or he felt that he was on the bottom at Uli. So he shared with the rest of them that he knows what's going on. That could change things. That could change the way that, because he specifically called to his moment with the fire and how like it fucked him up emotionally.
And they did cite that at the time too.
Yes.
There were cutaways where people are like, oh, well, that if John's being that way over the fire, then he's not going to be a reliable ally, so we're not going to fuck with that.
Now they did seem to be, especially Nate, more sympathetic during tribal towards that. One more thing about tribal, Rizzo. He shines in the Jeff interview portion of
I'm
Tribal.
coming around to the Riz God.
The Riz God is here, and he's here to stay.
His Instagram handle is Riz God.
It should be.
It's like Riz God 34, so that means that 33 other Riz Gods exist, I guess.
He's got to be the best one, though.
Yeah, the 34th.
Dude, I love Rizzo, and he was just like fun. Like I loved his personality, but watching him at these past 2 tribals, he is incredibly well spoken.
I think he makes it far.
He's so likable.
I don't know if he makes it to the end, but I think he makes it very far.
Yeah. It's awesome to see. That's just something that's really stood out to me the past 2 tribals. But Jason's out 4-1. We're talking about all the Hina scenarios for next week. What happens if Kella goes to tribal? Do we think that they take the shot at Shannon?
Yeah, I think they get Shannon.
Yeah.
I think they
That
get
makes sense to
Shannon.
me.
I think it's going to be a big Shannon blindside. She's very clearly not going to see it coming because Sage is playing her part. If Sage was going around trying to game with Shannon and Shannon was seeing Sage game with all these other people or whatever, but she is not. She is smiling and nodding and pretending like she is on Shannon's hip. I think they are going. I don't think it's a blindside from Shannon against Sage. If that happens, I think Sage would be like, yeah, I know Shannon doesn't like me, but I don't think Shannon knows that Sage doesn't like her, which is a huge blind spot for Shannon. And because she has that, her blinders on and not really, looking around, and she truly is underestimating her frenemy here. I think Shannon doesn't stand a chance, or maybe it is someone like Sophie, i.e., where we haven't really seen a lot of her, and that's why, because they just kind of
the floater. Yeah. I want to close out the show with the Triple O's. That's the working title for these awards that we're giving out. And that is representative of the 3 pillars of Survivor. Maybe we just call it the pillars.
The 3 pillar award?
Outwit, Outplay, and Outlast. I took the liberty of deciding these for the week.
Okay, and I retain the option to overthrow or to negotiate.
Debate. Outwit, I think, has to go
You want to
to...
say it on 3?
All right, 1, 2, 3. Nick.
Sage.
Sage.
Outwit?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, give me your reasoning for Sage.
She is flipping Shannon's game on its head and absolutely weaponizing her own perception of herself that she knows Shannon has of her to further manipulate Shannon. That's crazy. That's you're thinking 3 levels deep. It has to be Sage.
So I wrote down Nate's name because he really plays that journey challenge in a really smart way. He convinces MC to complete that challenge together. He's the one that pitches that they complete it together, and then they have the remaining time, and then he convinces her again to give up on searching for the advantage. And so that to me was like he was really playing strategically.
Then I would say he wouldn't even have had that opportunity had Jawan not rigged it for him, which then Jawan would be outwitting everyone then.
Yeah, I think honestly, as we're like growing this segment, maybe we each come with our own list.
I don't like that. I think we agree on one, and I think we're gonna agree on Sage winning this week.
You're gonna give it to Sage?
Yeah,
okay.
We are. No, we are.
That's fine. I'm really annoyed now. Outplay. Outplay, I say, goes to Alex this week.
Okay.
And here's why. We see Alex grind it out in that challenge.
Mm-hmm.
He is at the front of the cage. He's carrying a ton of the weight. They get to the beach, and he sinks them all. He's sinking them faster than Rizzo. And part of that is like, how fast can you get the ball or whatever? But he wins the immunity challenge. And then he gets back to camp, and he's the one to kill the chicken with Steven. I think that Outplay can encompass much more than just performance in the challenge.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the whole game. And part of the game is physical survival, not just surviving the social part. But he stepped up and said, no one wants to do this. I don't want to do it either, but I'll be the one to do this and provide for the rest of my tribe. I think that is a huge indicator of outplaying other people. Not that like it's competition, who gets to kill the chicken or whatever, but I think he really showed up as the type of player that you see on Survivor, from just like when you boil it down to making it happen while living in the wild.
I will throw out there though. I know she's gotten the award multiple weeks in a row now, but I still think MC is outplaying everybody. I still think she schlepped all of those bags on the beach, and then she said, "You know what? I'm not gonna sit out." She very easily could have sat on the sit-out bench, and Christina could have been playing, because MC very well awarded could have been like, "I just busted my ass. I can't do this." But no, she's like, "The team's stronger with me. I will be playing." And so she goes through 2 grueling competitions. And yes, Nate did the same thing, but Nate did start to give out. And the way that Nate was playing his outwit that you were trying to say earlier, it really was because he was getting outplayed by MC, and he was trying to be like, okay, well, if I can't outplay her, then maybe I can try to outwit her.
That's ultimately why I thought that's why I thought it would go to Nate, is because he did use the wit part of the gameplay to not defeat, but basically keep at bay the strongest competitor, the strongest physical competitor in the game. But yeah, I mean, MC is constantly going to be someone that's in consideration for the Outplay Award of the week. But I think Alex was the most well-rounded this week with everything he was able to accomplish for his tribe, which is why he gets the Outplay Award.
Okay, I think we can keep that one. She's won it multiple weeks in a row now, and you also need a win, because I hijacked your outwit for Sage.
Don't forget, I have total editing power over this.
That's true.
Also, you did a chicken impression like 30 minutes ago, and I'm saving that in the bank. That's going right into my my sound effects file.
Yeah, but don't forget, I am the captain.
Oh, instead of bleeping, I'll use the chicken impression every time we bleep. That's perfect.
God.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
I thought it was just gonna
silly radio instincts.
I thought it was only gonna be used once and just gonna be a one-time silly thing.
You shouldn't have busted my balls about the outwit.
Okay.
Outlast, it remains Sophie.
Yes.
I don't know how you can give it to anyone
Okay, we can
else.
agree on that one. She's still, yes.
I think it's safe to say Outlast is always going to be someone from the tribe that goes to tribal that night. It's someone who makes that
I mean, I think it could also be someone, like, I would have given it to Jake had he not gotten bit by a snake, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would call that an Outlast if
True.
he would be able to, bounce back from that.
Literally
obviously.
survive a deadly snake bite.
Right, yeah. Or, maybe someone is, waffling back and forth. They're having a hard time. They're missing their family. They're almost going to pull the plug, and they're going to, extract themselves from the game. And then they, figure it out and find their new meaning. And now they're back in it 100%. I would say that's maybe Outlast.
And speaking of Jake and his snake bite, if you go to our Instagram at Backdoors and Blindsides, there's a reel up right now where we dive into the history of all players who have been medically evacuated from Survivor, different ailments, some fun stats. This many people went out this way. This many people went out this way. This guy couldn't shit. There's a lot of fun data in that reel, and I think it's a great one to share with people who might dig this show and like Survivor. It's getting good traction. So if you follow this show, if you like us, share it with someone, put it on your story, leave a comment, like it, whatever it is, just give us some engagement on it. And for that, or on that note, follow us on Instagram at Backdoors and Blindsides, on X at Backdoor Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we also post our reels in form of YouTube shorts, and we have full video episodes. I implore you to go to the video episode of this, if you haven't already, to see the visual component of Meg doing her chicken impression that will forever be immortalized on Backdoors and Blindsides whenever we need to make an edit.
Yeah.
And be sure to check us out on Threads at Backdoors and Blindsides. Occasional live posting during Survivor on Threads and X. Sometimes there's so much going on that we're taking notes, but those are our socials. And if you haven't already, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your shows. And with that being said, coming to you live from inside our living room, I'm Matt. We're Backdoors and Blindsides. The vibe has spoken.